The wind howled through the empty streets like a warning no one was listening to. Trash scattered across the broken road, plastic bags dancing in the cold air, and somewhere in the shadows, beneath an abandoned wooden cart, a mother held her, babies closer. She hadn't eaten in 2 days. Her body was weak, ribs visible beneath her thin, dusty fur. Every breath felt heavier than the last. But still, she didn't move away from them, because they needed her. 5 tiny puppies, eyes barely, open, pressed against her for warmth. They whimpered softly, searching for milk that was slowly running out. And yet, she licked their faces gently, as if everything was okay, as if she wasn't starving, as if the world hadn't forgotten them. But the truth was, it had. Just a week ago, her life was different. She wasn't strong, but she wasn't this broken, either. She used to wander near a busy market, surviving on scraps thrown by strangers. Some people ignored her, some chased her away, but a few, a very few, showed kindness. That was enough to survive. Until the day her puppies were born. It happened during a storm. Thunder cracked across the sky as she searched desperately for shelter. Every corner was either too exposed or already taken. The rain soaked her to the bone, and the pain came suddenly, sharply. She was alone. No one to help, no place to go. So she crawled beneath that old wooden cart and gave birth right there, in the cold, in the dark, in the middle of a storm that didn't care if she survived. One by one, the puppies came into the world, fragile and helpless, and from that moment, nothing else mattered. Not hunger, not fear, not pain, only them. The next morning, the storm passed. But the real struggle had just begun. She needed food, for herself, for them. But leaving them alone was a risk she couldn't afford. Every time she stepped away, even for a moment, her heart raced with fear. What if someone took them? What if another animal attacked? What if... She didn't make it back in time. So she stayed. Day after day, hunger gnawed at her insides. Her milk began to dry up. The puppies cried more often now, their tiny bodies growing weaker. Still, she refused to give up. One afternoon, the sun burned harshly overhead. The streets were busier than usual. People passed by, lost in their own worlds, unaware of the quiet. Struggle happening just a few feet away. The mother dog slowly stood up. Her legs trembled. She looked at her puppies, then back at the street. This time, she had no choice. She had to find food. With one last glance, she nudged them closer together, hiding them as best as she could beneath the cart. And then she stepped out. Every movement felt like a battle. Her body was weak, her vision slightly blurred, but she kept walking. She approached a small food stall nearby. The smell hit her instantly. Cooked meat. Fresh bread. Hope. Her tail moved slightly, cautiously, as she inched closer. She didn't bark. She didn't make noise. She simply sat there, waiting. Begging silently. The man at the stall noticed her. At first, he frowned. "Go away," he muttered, waving his hand. She didn't move. Not this time. Because somewhere behind, her 5 lives depended on this moment. She took a step closer. Her eyes, tired, desperate, but filled with something deeper. Determination. The man sighed in annoyance and tossed a small piece of bread in her direction. It wasn't much. But, to her, it was everything. She grabbed it gently and turned away immediately. But she didn't eat it. Not a single bite. Instead, she ran, as fast as her weak body could carry her, back to the cart, back to her puppies. She dropped the bread in front of them, nudging it closer, encouraging them to eat even though they barely understood. Then she lay down beside them, watching, protecting, loving. Even in her weakest moment, she chose them first. Days passed like this, a constant cycle of hunger, searching, and sacrifice. Sometimes she found food, sometimes she didn't, but every time she did, she brought it back. Every time. Because that's what mothers do. One evening, dark clouds gathered again. Another storm was coming. The wind grew stronger, colder, more dangerous. The puppies huddled together, shivering. The wooden cart creaked under the pressure of the gusts. The mother dog knew this storm could be worse. She had to protect them. She began digging frantically beneath the cart, creating a deeper space, a safer place. Her paws scraped against the hard ground, nails breaking, skin tearing. But she didn't stop, not even when it hurt, not even when she was exhausted, because fear had been replaced by something stronger. Love. The rain started pouring again, heavier than before. Water seeped into their shelter, the ground turning muddy and cold. The puppies cried loudly now. The mother wrapped herself around them, shielding them with her body, taking the cold, the rain, the pain, so they wouldn't have to. Hours passed. The storm showed no mercy, but neither did she. Morning finally came. The rain slowed, the sky cleared, and somehow they were still alive, but barely. The mother dog could no longer stand properly. Her body had reached its limit. She lay there, breathing slowly, her eyes half open, still watching her puppies, still guarding them. That's when something unexpected happened. Footsteps approached. Slow, careful. Different. Not rushed like others. Not careless. Man stopped near the cart. He had seen her before, the same dog near the market. But today, something felt wrong. He crouched down slightly, peering underneath, and what he saw made his heart sink. 5 tiny puppies. Weak, hungry, and a mother, barely holding on. For a moment, he just stood there, silent, taking it all in. Then he whispered, almost to himself, "How are you still fighting?" The dog didn't growl, didn't bark. She simply looked at him, and in her eyes, he saw everything. The pain, the hunger, the love, the refusal to give up, that was enough. Without another word, the man turned and rushed away. The dog watched him leave. She didn't know if he would come back, but she didn't chase. She stayed, because she couldn't leave them. Minutes later, he returned, with food, with water, with a blanket. He placed the food gently in front of her. This time, she hesitated, not out of fear, but instinct. She looked at her puppies first, always them. The man noticed. "It's okay," he said softly. "You can eat," but she didn't, not yet. He broke the food into smaller pieces and placed some closer to the puppies. Only then did she take a bite. Slowly, carefully, as if reminding herself how to eat again. Tears filled the man's eyes, because in that moment, he realized something powerful. She wasn't just surviving, she was sacrificing. From that day on, everything began to change. The man came back every day. Food, water, care. He built a small shelter for them, stronger and safer. The puppies grew healthier. Stronger, their eyes opened wider, their movements more playful. And the mother, she began to heal, not just physically, but emotionally. For the first time in a long time, she wasn't alone. Weeks passed. The transformation was unbelievable. The same dog who once couldn't stand now walked with strength. The same puppies who once cried from hunger now played under the sun, and the man who once passed by became their family. One day, he made a decision. He wasn't going to leave them there, not anymore. He gently picked up each puppy, placing them into a box. The mother watched carefully, alert, protective. But she didn't resist, because now she trusted him. And trust is something she didn't give easily. He took them home. All of them. A new life. Warmth. Safety. Love. The kind they had never known before. And as the door closed behind them, the streets that once held their pain faded into the past. But their story didn't, because it was never just about survival. It was about a mother who refused to give up, a mother who fought hunger, storms, and exhaustion, just to give her puppies a chance. And in the end, that love changed everything. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because sometimes the smallest lives teach us the biggest lessons about love, sacrifice, and hope.